Hey everybody, Andrew Malkoski with the Denver 100 here, and I'm hanging out with my friend Ethan Miksche with Johnson Moving and Storage. Thanks for coming. Appreciate having you here.
Thanks for being here. Yeah.
One of the things that sets you specifically, not just Johnson Moving and Storage, but you specifically, is that one of your specialties is working with senior clients.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I love that because I have my SRES, which is the Senior Real Estate Specialist. So I also have a specialty in helping senior clients. So
Yeah.
one of the things you and I have in common, we get to bond over that a little bit. In our last conversation, we talked a little bit about what your process, the Johnson Moving process is to help people moving. Talk to me a little bit about what changes in that do you see, do you use when you are working with our senior clients?
Yeah. So, the senior moves is a little bit more of a different process. The reason obviously is because they are senior,
Sure.
right? And so we have to do things a little bit different to move that process along the right way, whether it's the comfortability of the senior or dealing with, the power of attorney, which could be a loved one that's
Mhm.
helping them
Sure.
transition. Senior moves is different based off of that, but the process is very similar.
Okay.
We want to sit down with the senior, go over the options that they're going to be moving. A lot of them are downsizing, coming out of the house they've been in for 50 years,
Yeah.
right? Or they could be just going from one independent living to, another assisted living.
Sure.
A little bit different, but in general, the way that we move the process forward is slowing it down. Really
Okay.
going over in the items that can go and what items can't go. One thing that's different for us is we have a coordinator that will get flagged for these moves specifically to make sure that we communicate, whether they're handicapped or they have a disability. We want it to operate on that level to understand that crew coordination and the representative's going to hold their hand the right way.
That's very cool. One of the things that you talked about in your process in our last conversation was getting to know the story.
Right.
It's a lot more personal, I think, with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved that, getting to know the story, and I would say that's doubly important when you have a senior move. Yeah.
100%. The story is where it starts. Okay. Previous moves, you could tell, right? A senior move, they've done a lot
Yeah.
or they haven't,
Uh,
right? But the story is what matters. What happened before and what can we do different to make it right? And so if we can accommodate that and making that transition smooth with a little bit less risk,
yeah.
everybody's happy. Yeah.
To talk a little bit about then your partnerships with different services that have to happen sometimes with a senior move. So you were kind of hinting at, some of these things are going to, from house to house, but some of them aren't,
Right?
right? So especially in a downsizing situation,
Yeah.
what kind of other services do you then refer out or utilize to help in those senior transitions?
Yeah, so we have partnerships with other facilities that can manage to do a little bit more detailed stuff for the client or the customer, the senior. Whether it's getting rid of the decluttering, we handle the declutter, but there could be some part of that declutter service that has a transition specialist
Okay.
tied to it
Yep.
that can guide them. Sometimes more people that are in that space really make the transition more smooth than just one person, the mover. If the person hasn't moved for 50 years, right,
Yeah.
it's tough to really get them to the next level, right? To transition after 50 years being in a
Yeah.
location. So yeah, partnerships with other transition specialists make it a lot of it easier for them, for
Yeah.
the senior.
That's great. I mean, it's one of the things. I mean, you and I do a lot of networking and in that space
Yeah.
specifically, and I love that is part of your passion. So
Yeah, the one of the big things that we notice too in our current market is the senior's not with the loved one that's handling the move, right? And that's a big part. So the senior might be in Colorado here, but she's going back to North Carolina. We have the ability to set up a video call with the customer, even hand the person that's helping at the facility to make the transaction or make the move work with the person still in North Carolina and getting them moved out the right way, Yeah. So just making it more flexible for the senior or whoever's handling it.
That's very cool. If you know anybody that is looking for moving help, especially from a senior standpoint, I think that Ethan would be great phone call for you. Thanks so much for coming and talking with me, Ethan.
You bet.
Thanks, guys.